Hey guys, what's up? It's Jeremy and we are live here in Quartzsite, Arizona at the Quartzsite RV show. And to give you a look, this is the midway section right here. And we are looking south. We are on the southeast corner of the tent. Lots of people here hanging out. It is getting towards the end of the day, so it's calming down. There's our Ford Transit. We're gonna come back, take a look at that thing. But what I wanna show you is our booth and what you could expect if you come visit us here at Quartzsite, Arizona, or maybe you just come and visit us at a show that we're gonna be doing this year in 2024. And this is really cool. This is a look inside of our booth where we have all of our Ford bumpers here on display. That is our pre-runner bumper right there. We have our Baja rear bumper, so sleek and small, that's super sexy. We have our tube winch bumper, really nice, be able to put a winch in there. That is the same bumper that I have on my Ford. And of course, we have our dual swing rear bumper right there. Maybe you just need a backpack. You need to be able to carry a spare. Maybe you want to add a folding table mount or a box to it. And then we have our interactive display where we have kids coming over here, come play with it. Look at that. Oh, can you do them? Can you do the next one? Oh, he's almost got it. Man, that one's a little bit tougher. That is the King 2.5 shock for the F53. But this is what's fun if you want to come and experience what it's like and what it feels like to use some of the shocks. You're able to do that. And here's a look. I know one of the big popular brands is going to be this one right here. That's your Coney shock. And you always hear how awesome they are. Well, now you can experience it firsthand. So I'm gonna come over here and push that down. You can see how easy that just kind of goes down on its own. Here, why don't one of you kids do it? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, hold on, push it down. Tell me how easy that.
Really easy.
That was really easy, huh? Was that probably the easiest one?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be controlling your motorhome. So I'm not really quite sure how that's gonna do. So over on the other side, we have our F53 shocks. And those are gonna be, you have your Coney again. This is a brand new Coney out of the box. You have your Bilstein shock right here, you can see. And then we have our stock F53 shock. So this is what's gonna come on your coach. Now, what we're doing is we're upgrading these shocks to the 2.5 King shock. And we even opened up these shocks so you could see inside to see exactly what's going on. So you can see how small that piston is in that twin tube Coney shock versus our King 2.5 shock, which is gonna hold a lot more oil, keeping your shock cooler longer. So this is really fun. This is our interactive shock display. Come feel what the shocks that you may be running on your motorhome or van. And as we cruise around, this is gonna be our Ford Transit display. Look at how awesome these Ford Transits look once they have the Weldtec Designs suspension on them. So you guys have seen this a bunch. This is our 3-inch spindle. Look how nice that looks right there. We're gonna have our Gen 2 arm right here. This is gonna have the adjustable camber on the bottom. It's also gonna have adjustable caster. You do have to remove the bolt to be able to spin this and adjust the caster. In just a minute, I'm gonna be showing you guys our new Gen 3 lower control arms. They are pretty darn amazing. And what else is amazing? Look how cool that logo looks. Look at that WTD logo. This is a new product, and for the Ford Transit, we have a new lineup of shocks that we are offering. We have 3 new shocks for the Ford Transit. Starting off with a 2.0, and this is going to be the remote reservoir shock. What is really nice about this shock now is this is going to have the compression adjuster on the rear of it. So you're going to be able to make the shock stiffer on the fly. If you get into that terrain that you just need a little bit more shock. The next shock is going to be a 2.5 shock. This is going to be the piggyback version of our 2.5 shock for the Ford Transit. That may be for a little bit heavier van. Maybe you have a build out. We want to really control that, and that's going to have that same compression adjuster on the top. Now the big difference between these two shocks is going to be the diameter of the shocks, and what that means is that 2.5 is just going to hold all that oil. That's going to help keep the shock cooler longer, and that is really important when you're off-roading your Transit. It's also really important when you're just driving down the highway wanting to keep that smooth ride. Oh, I almost forgot one thing. I'd like to tell you one other thing is now with the Ford Transit, we are also offering just a 2-inch coil spacer. So that's going to be the least expensive entry point into lifting your Ford Transit. So you can start off with just a spacer. That's going to be really nice. And then you can add to it. You could add a lower control arm. You could add our Ford Transit lower control arm support, lower control arm A-arm support. That actually goes right there. It's going to bolt up in that hole, making that pivot a lot stronger. That's definitely ideal. And then we have another shock that is going to go right there. I will show you guys that shock in just a minute. This is really cool too if you guys have never seen this. This is the aluminum folding table mount. You know that you always want to carry a table, but you never know where to put it. Well, now you have a place to store it. You can mount this to the back of your box, your spare tire holder, mount it to your roof rack. I mean, the possibilities are endless, and that is the Weldtec Designs aluminum folding table mount. So we move back behind this, we see our Chevy Express kits. So this is going to be our cast spindle that we have. We also offer this in the TIG welded version. Look how nice that looks. Some windshield pod mounts, those are bitchin'. The behind the grill light bar mount. Of course, you know we love our Fox shocks for the Chevy Express. And then we have that awesome progressive spring for the rear of those. Those are great, especially if you have a road track or heavy build out in your van. I guess we don't want to neglect this. You guys have seen this a million times. This is our extended radius arms. And that's what your stock E450 spring looks like with no load on it. What a pile of junk. And there's a Weldtec Designs spring. So what's nice is if you do come out, you can, this is all interactive. You can go through products, check out our website. Definitely a lot of fun. Lion Energy batteries. I just did solar on my RV. I'm gonna be doing a review. I'm gonna be talking about that. Maybe on Weldtec, but it's probably gonna be over on Jeremy's World 10. So make sure you go check out Lion Energy. And we're gonna be talking about adding solar to your van or RV. A lot of fun, a lot of stuff going on. So this is the Weldtec Designs. This is the adventure kit on a RV. This is the E450. You guys have seen that a whole bunch. This thing is awesome, drives so nice. But what is the newest addition is, look at this. We're always in search of the very best tires that we can offer you guys at Weldtec Designs. And this is the Maxxis tire. This is a 235/85/16, and it is a UR275. This tire on the highway drives amazing. If you are looking for a really quiet tire, you want a larger tire. It's going to be less aggressive than like an all-terrain. This is more of a highway radial. This thing is insane. It drives so smooth. I really like it. I mean, definitely thank you, Maxxis. These tires are just amazing, really nice. And we also added those in the rear. You can see we got our dually set up in the back. Our giant progressive springs, this is awesome. More of our booth. On this passenger side, look at this big step over here. This is really nice. It's gonna be really nice being able to step up and get in there, because now with the new suspension on it, man, we've gotta be almost 2 feet to this step right here. This is gonna cut that distance in half, making it really nice to be able to just step up, get up in the Transit, especially, I've got no build out in here. This thing's empty. I would love some ideas, you know, or maybe you guys know, who did you guys use to build the inside of your Transit? Did you do it yourself? I got all kinds of room in here, and you know, don't know what I want to do in this yet. Man, it's just so much, so many possibilities. So again, we're running those Method wheels. Those are beautiful. The Maxxis Razor AT, that's the all-terrain tire. Let's walk back over to the driver's side. I want to show you what we have going on back here. So this is it, guys. So there is our progressive leaf spring for the rear of this. And what's nice about this spring is we can change the rate and also the height. So if you have a Ford Transit Trail, you have a dual rear wheel set up, or maybe you have just a single rear wheel with a camper build out, we have a spring that's going to work for you. Now look at this. This is what is really awesome as I get in here. This is going to be the 2.5 shock. This is going to be the remote reservoir shock. And now what is awesome is look how easy this is. I can just reach in here. I have the compression adjuster that I'm able to turn. There we go. It was just, we backed it out all the way. Someone's playing with it. So you can do this. You have 20 stages of compression adjustment. That is going to be really nice on that 2.5 king shock with remote reservoir. Now as we come underneath here, oh, I gotta mention this. So not only is this a reservoir mount, but this is our new mount. This is gonna be a man, I just totally went blank there. So this is gonna be like a doubler for the shock, making that mount where the bolt goes through it, making that a lot stronger, because I don't like how thin that sheet metal is. I want everything really strong. This is also gonna have our high clearance lower mount, which is gonna raise that up, giving us more ground clearance. That is nice. Look at those big old springs right there. Look at how killer that is. So that is the rear suspension on the Ford Transit. We got that little baby step right there on the driver's side. That is awesome. And as we come around to the front of it, we are going to see that big aluminous bumper. This thing looks amazing. Look how good that looks on the Ford Transit. I do need to add some lights. So comment down below, tell me what lights you're running, what lights you love. And I'm gonna need to add a winch to this as well. Get this thing all wrapped up. Now what I did do on this as well, because it's really hard to see, but I did add the Raptor grill. But I don't know, I might have to do something because this bar is right in front of the Ford emblem. So who knows what I'm gonna do, you know? So now let's get on to what all of you really want to see, and that's going to be the Ford Transit front suspension. So before we jump into this completely, know that this setup will work on your two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, or Transit Trail. So this is going to be the best you can buy for your Ford Transit. So should we start with the shock or the lower arm? We're gonna go lower arm. So this is our Gen 3 lower control arm. And what is nice or different about the Gen 3 lower control arm is this right here. This is going to be an inline caster adjuster. So you simply loosen up the jam nuts on both sides of it, and you're able to adjust the caster while it's on the vehicle. You no longer need to remove the bolt in order to do that. Now, one other thing that we've added to the back of this is going to be our lower control arm support bracket, because normally this is the thin little sheet metal which that's riding on, and to me that's just not quite adequate enough. So we've made that double shear a lot thicker. It bolts up using factory mounts, and that's really nice. So this arm is also going to still have the camber adjuster on the outside, so you can get 1.5 degrees of camber adjustment. And there is your all-wheel drive lower control arm. And this lower control arm will work on the Ford Transit all-wheel drive, and the Ford Transit Trail. So if you want to start tricking out your trail, this is one way to do it with this lower control arm. Well, you might think, well, you have a Transit Trail, so you have really good front suspension, until you find out that your suspension is completely stock. All they've done is a body drop, putting spacers in the subframe. So that is great because it does keep your CV axle straighter, more in the stock orientation. And then it does have a spacer up on the top. Well, if you want to eliminate that spacer, here is going to be the best option for you, and that is going to be this 2.5 king coilover shock. It is actually a strut. It goes in the OEM factory position. But now what is really nice about this is it does have a coil spring that you can actually change the spring rate on. I can also loosen this up and I could add preload to the spring, giving me additional height if I need it. Maybe I add a winch to the front of it, I add some other stuff, and I go, man, I need a little bit more height out of it because it settled down a little. I'm able to crank this up and give me some more height out of it. This does have the remote reservoir as well. And this is the King 2.5 remote reservoir. It's also finned, so it's gonna help keep that oil cooler. And you know that that is ideal if you're gonna be doing any sort of off-roading. You need to keep that shock cooler a lot longer. This is a gas pressured shock. It's going to take nitrogen and it fills up through the top. This shock is also 100% rebuildable, so that is going to be really nice as well. Now, if you have an all-wheel drive Transit or a two-wheel drive Transit, maybe you have a spacer kit in there, you can remove that spacer and get the lift all out of this. And we look forward to this year as we're gonna have even more options available for the Ford Transit when it comes to struts and suspension. But there you go, guys. This is the thing that we have been working on. This is pretty awesome for the Ford Transit. Two-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, and Transit Trail is going to be that new 2.5 King coilover, and we're going to have those on our website. You can pre-order them starting now, and we will have you shocks very soon for your Ford Transit. Something to look forward to. So there it is. This is our Ford Transit all-wheel drive with a Weldtec Designs suspension, and this thing is awesome. We look forward to having this out in the dirt, having a good time. We are out here in Quartzsite, Arizona. This is our booth. If you want to come by and say hi, we will be here till Sunday. I hope that this video was informative, helped you learn what products we have available now for the Ford Transit. For our shock demonstration vehicle, or our shock demonstration display, our Chevy Express products, all our bumpers, our RV products. And if you want to know more about Lion Energy, check them out, or Steel It Paint. Otherwise, guys, that's all I got. Boy, this was a good video. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. And you know what? Here, let's do that because the sun is crazy. If you like this kind of video where I'm just kind of walking around showing you all the stuff, there's not a kind of, fancy B-roll and all the